Hello, my name is Justin Hickman. I'm with GwtDb. Today is Thursday, May 4th. May the 4th be with you. Today, it's been a couple of weeks since I streamed last. I'm just going to jump right back into the Gwt database stuff. Last time we were here, we were looking at the Domino Jackson for serialization, deserialization, basically converting into a JavaScript object. So let me go ahead and switch over to my display. Whenever we left, I was still having some issues with getting some of that to work, but I was able to get the JS object reader working just fine. So let me demonstrate first. So if I refresh this page, if we remember, let's go back through some of this just to refresh our minds. We did create this implementation using an annotation processor that basically just generates that. We're going to be doing more with that soon. Because we talked about being able to get rid of some of these named properties. I don't even know if I'm going to need that anyways, now that it's converting into JavaScript objects in the back end. But here I create a new person object. I set the address, I set a couple of children, and ignoring that for now, we have this bean wrapper, and it's just throwing the object into that bean wrapper. And if you remember, the bean wrapper is basically a generated type that has the JSON mapper annotation on it, so that runs through the JSON, the Domino Jackson annotation processor to generate all of the serializer deserializers. And this allows us to at least annotate or use generics here for the type that we're actually generating this for. That way, if we don't have access to modify the code for the bean that we're trying to serialize, it'll at least be able to get to it through the transitive bean definition here. So going back here, we have the JS writer. We're creating just a dummy context. And we are serializing using that JSON writer, that wrapper bean, into this JSON writer get value, which returns a serialized object. And we can console that out just to see what that looks like. And then we on the other side, we need to be able to read that JSON or JavaScript object, I should say. It's not actually JSON. That JavaScript object, we're setting the value on this reader. Same thing in reverse, but deserializing that. Then we get the data from the deserialized bean wrapper to string it. That way we can actually see what it's doing. So this is the very first console log of that serialized JavaScript object. And here we can see the address, the age, the children, and it's able to go through those deeply nested. Because if you recall, with the JS object reader, we have this stack. So whenever it's receiving these tokens off the string, it's basically just peeking at the object, identifying where we're at in the object. If it's a string, I return a string. If it's a number, just return a number. If it's an object, I then check to see if it's an array. Then I begin array, otherwise begin object. And then all of the extra methods here for get next value, next double, all of those will be able to do the appropriate thing by consuming the current value off of that stack, which that allows us to just maintain what property that we're currently looking at. So here we have that object node, which is the last key, all of this magical stuff, and it actually works. So as you saw, it's actually able to serialize it this way, but then the deserialized version, we can see that it is the person object, because I think I'm just doing a toString on it. Yeah, calling a toString on it. And that one is actually implemented to show the toString of the bean definition. And we can see in here that we have children, and there's a person. That's the child 1, and another person instance, and that's child 2. So it is able to pull it back into the bean definition that it originally started out with. So today what we're going to do, probably going to clean up some of this code at some point. I know that some of these didn't have great method implementations on this. Like this one right here, get output, nothing fool. I should probably convert that into like throwing an unsupported operation exception or something. I don't know what to do with this, because typically, because this is with Domino Jackson, this would be returning a string serialization of some sort of object. But we're not producing a string. The output for this particular writer is going to be a JavaScript object. So I am going to close that out, close out the person. Let's just start with a clean workspace for the most part. Might have to look at some of these and just ignore some of these for now. If you recall from weeks and weeks ago, I don't remember whenever this was, but we implemented this in-memory strategy for the GWT database. That's basically just being delegated to pass in all of the documents, being able to get, do the search, remove, dealing with all of the indexes, things like that. Rather than modifying this one, because if you remember, this one's holding a GwtDb node. I probably want to hold on to some sort of a collection. Maybe it's either going to be a B tree or just a map. I am not entirely sure, but let me put my notes where I can see them, because I was working through this yesterday. May have to refresh my memory of how I was planning on doing this, but I want to create a new implementation. And I am just going to do a new GwtDB JS object. I don't really want to call it a strategy, but just for the time being and consistency, we're just going to do it like this. And this is going to be of type D, implements GwtDB of D. And let's go ahead and implement all of our methods. There we go. And we're just going to tackle these one by one. Probably a lot of this is going to be copy and paste. So I can probably just do it like this. This is going to be slightly different. For now, let's go ahead and do this with a map. Might switch it to a B tree later. We'll just see how that goes. But this one's actually going to be a JS object, and this is going to be an elemental JS object. And there we go. Named properties, probably don't need to worry about that. Let's worry about indexes later. May not do anything with indexes right now, but then the base one, instead of the in-memory one, let's create a new JS object strategy as the default. We're gonna have to figure out how this is all going to get tied in together at some point, but for now, let's go ahead and compile that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to return some sort of promise, because right now it's just gonna get a lot of null pointer exceptions on any of these that we're expecting promises. So a little bit of busy work to at least get the initial parts done. So I could probably, for the most part, let me rearrange this class. That way it's at least the same over here. All right, so the first one that we're going to look at is post, because that is the very first one that it had in the method calls here. So I was thinking for this, what we want to do is convert that data type, that document that's coming in, to a JSON or JS object, a JavaScript object. So let's go ahead and, for the most part, do the same thing. Return promise, resolve, reject. Okay. And we can probably, don't know if I'm going to need this node or not. Not for this, at least. I might want to change this base bean wrapper to include the ID and the other revision. Basically, the very similar thing that we have in the GwtDb node. Both of those are string. There we go. Lost track of where I was. All right, so the final string ID, private string revision, and D. That's basically the document. I can probably make it very much the same as this type, but this one's going to be intended to be a JavaScript object. And I could probably just throw in the getters and setters for those, because it will need those in order to serialize and deserialize. Alrighty. So throw that one away. Come over here. And in this particular case, probably going to need some access, because the serializer and stuff like that is going to be off of this guy, this instance. So I probably want to throw that instance into the strategy, so that I can just call the get serialize and serialize on the fly. All right, and this is going to be that, which is an abstract object mapper of some type. Trying to do this in a generic way so that I can actually get that object back. I mean, technically, we can just do the base bean wrapper in the super class. Well, let's see. Where is that strategy? So we're gonna have to pass this in. So here, whenever we're creating the default, I could probably throw something into the implementation. So if I take a look at this person GwtDB or person DB impl, since we are extending the base GwtDB, we can probably throw in where is that abstract object mapper? and base bean wrapper of D, right? Yeah, I mean, that could work. So then the person impl here will have to pass the instance. So I need to generate this such that it's done like that. All right, so let's take a look at that GwtDb processing step here. And I know that I called this super. And I probably need to add the comma plus, I don't know if this, oh, this does take args. I don't know how that's done. Is it like string.format kind of stuff? I am not entirely sure. But we will need to get access to this mapper impl. I think for the most part, it'll probably, yeah, I guess I don't really need to do that. I know it's probably favorable to do that, but let's see, I need... I guess that's the only place that I have that, to string plus impl dot underscore, not dot. Yeah, this is gonna be gross, but get it to work first, clean it up later, right? Bean wrapper, which is going to be a constant name, mapper impl, which is going to be a constant name, instance, which is also going to be a constant. And I can just throw that off with a closing parent, and that should be good, right? So come over here to Maven, lifecycle, compile. See if that actually regenerates the class on the fly. It did not. Well, I could take a look at, where is this at? I'm still trying to get used to this new interface with the new version of IntelliJ. So that is client main. If I do this client main, it wasn't consistent on my yeah, consistent on my naming. I guess clean compile. Well, now I did it. It's probably because it's not in the reactor. There we go. I have to restart. Hopefully I don't have to restart. Oh, that compiled. All right. All right, so let's take a look at this. So back over here, we have this person DB impl, and that was actually generated through the annotation processor that time, which is perfect. So then it gets over to here, and now I need to pass this mapper into that strategy. Wonder if I should just pass that into the constructor. Might be a little bit easier. Let's just do that for now. We can complain about it later. Mapper. All right, so then over here, let's create a mapper constructor. Yeah, just easier to do it through here. Create constructor. That is not a D. That's a abstract object mapper of anything that extends base bean wrapper of D, right? Create a field for the mapper. All right, so now we have the other mapper. I'm not sure if that's all I need or not, but let's go back down here to the post. There it is. So mapper dot get serializer. Serialize, and I'm going to have a writer. I'm probably going to have to create these on the other fly. So JS object writer, because it does maintain state. And the value, which is going to be this document. Context. I do that over here. Here we go. Now, don't need to do that. Is that not going to work? So this is the bean wrapper. My mistake. Ooh, I didn't even think of that. May have to pass in like a function instead. Yeah, I mean, what if we had the serialization, deserialization stuff? Yeah, let's think about that. Because this needs to be in that bean wrapper. We don't know anything about the bean wrapper up here. All right, well, change of strategy here. I guess what we could do, let's think about this. What if we were to do all of the serialization, deserialization in this implementation? That way that the bean wrapper stuff doesn't have to, well, the bean wrapper itself will, but the stuff dealing with the serialization wouldn't have to go outside of this implementation. How was I doing that before? For the ID and the revision. Let's just take a look at this. I think it was underscore, yeah. Technically, we don't need that. Well, kind of do. Because that does modify the other document directly. So the bean that's you're posting should be modified to include the ID, right? Don't know. Don't know. That's a future issue to deal with. So let's think about this. Let me come back over here. Just general approach. Because we want to be able to put into the store the ID and the serialized object. And the ID is going to be string strategy create ID. We also need a revision. That's going to be an ID. Not dealing with revisions right now, but eventually we will. I mean, yeah, what if we had just a serializer function? That we were able to pass in the document and out pops the JS object. And then previous node, what was I doing here? Oh, if there was already a node at that ID, then we have to remove that one from the index. Let's deal with the indexes later. So if we have a serializer instead of the mapper, I mean, we could just create a different type for this mapper instead of passing the abstract object mapper, because we don't have enough information here. Unfortunately, we can't just use that mapper. Get serializer. Because whenever we were trying to do the serializer, we needed it to be already in that bean wrapper, which only this guy knows about. Well, we could create some sort of serializer, deserializer. Just thinking this through on the fly, because I didn't come up with this in my notes, unfortunately. So if I took an object, the type D, I want to return something that extends the base bean wrapper, right, of that D. No, let's not make it final right now. And then the opposite side, if we were to have yeah, let's ignore that bean wrapper because we just want the document. It'll have to create its own wrapper of that. do the serialization and get out a JS object. Okay. I guess, like that. And that returns the D from that. Does that look right? Because I can easily generate this stuff, right? I could do a public JS object serialize import type. Is that the right one? Didn't even look. All right, serialize, and this is going to be a person. I'm just trying to think this through in code. I do need to figure out how I'm going to generate this. But if I were to take this, because the bean wrapper isn't actually needed for anything, right? Yeah. That's basically what I would have to generate. But the difference, I would probably want to grab the IDs off of that person. Yeah. So if I had, where's that? GwtDb no, or db util. Get ID off of that person. I know that's kind of weird, but because of the fact that I'm plopping on these IDs outside of the knowledge of that person, I'm using like underscore properties, that's actually not going to be serialized because it's unknown. It's basically using the whole duck typing and throwing on properties onto something without the Java side knowing about that. So it's not going to be able to serialize into that JSON structure. So I need to pass that metadata separately onto that object. So here, if I were to serialize that, that could work. So if I did this, instead of the that, what if I were just to do an interface serializer deserializer? Instead of this, I can do JS object serialize bean, and then the bean or data. Deserialize. Nope, I don't know why I named that. And then we would just implement that, a person. and then deserialize. Oh, public. I'll rearrange these later. And then instead of passing this, I would be able to pass in this and change the superclass. Instead of this, we can do a serializer deserializer of D. Okay, and then we can, let's just go ahead and create that constructor. That's fine. I don't need that mapper constructor anymore. And then we can bind this. Create field. I know that all of this work, let me screenshot it. It'll get overwritten if we run the compile again. What? That was weird. All right, and then down here, serializer, deserializer, serialize, document. Yep. Put that. Yeah. So then that creates the JS object, and we know that it's a JS object that contains the data. I probably need to change that to be in step with the Gwt node, DB node that I had before, with a document instead of data. But this could work. This could work pretty well, actually, right? Serializer D's. Oh, wait, what? Yeah, because I'm defining D as person right there. So if I also implement serializer, deserializer, yeah. Oh, it's because I'm using this inside of the other constructor, isn't it? Cannot reference this. Yeah. Oof. Well, what I could do is implement serializer, deserializer of D. And then don't do that. Oh, the same issue. I can't just pass this. Can I? Oh, what? Nah. Yeah, let me make this abstract. All that. That. Cyclic inheritance. Because of this. I probably need to separate that out or something. I don't know. And the only reason I have this base class so that I can wap out the strategy, the persistent strategy, so that if I ever wanted to have like a web worker strategy that is able to basically throw it over to a web worker to store these JavaScript objects, it would be able to. What do I have wrong here? Let's just fix that constructor real quick. And let's remove that final for now. Just until we figure out what this problem is. I mean, I can move it. I mean, is that the problem? Yeah, let's move that super as its own upper level. Okay, that fixed it. I guess it's because of the trying to inherit something that's a nested interface. Did not like it. Can I do that? I'm surprised I'm able to do that. Okay, I'm not going to complain. All right, so if that's the case, then that is working now. So now I just need to throw all of this into the annotation processor code generator thing. But before I do that, I should probably see if that even works. I can do a final on this now. There we go. Let's take a look at the post here. All right, so we do need to GwtUtil set ID on that document. And set revision. Where's the post? I mean, it would have been nice to have that wrapper object, but it's all right. Yeah, let's see if that is able to serialize. Well, we didn't get any errors with that post. So I should be able to open up, yeah, close all of the others, then open up GwtDb JSON object strategy. Let's just come down here, put a breakpoint here. Let's see what that looks like. All right. So we have the document itself, and this is the bean, but we also have this JS object where it has the revision, the ID, the data. And then the other children. Yeah, that'll work. And then it's just throwing that into a map. Nice. All right, so that's going to work. So let's go ahead and modify the processing step here to add some extra methods. First thing that we have to do is clean up this stuff that's no longer needed, passing stuff into the constructor. And that was the construction builder, add type. All right, so here we need to add a method spec, method builder, serialize. We don't have to do anything extra here, do we? No, don't have to do anything extra. Add annotation, only because I like to have it there. Override class. That way it actually signifies that we're implementing a method from the superclass. So I guess now it's just a bunch of statements. Oh, modifiers. Modifier public. I have to, yeah, add or returns. Here we go. Returns. This is going to be a type. Seems like I have to figure this out every single time I look in here. Type name. But get. No. Bean type mirror. How did I do that before? Okay, is that going to work? That returns a class name. I guess that's enough for this stuff. You might mean class name get. Yeah, that's what I did. I don't know if you said that before I came across that realization or not. All right. Primitives. Yeah. I think that's all I needed on that. So add statement. I think we decided to use strings. So bean wrapper, because this is going to be called bean wrapper. Oh, I need a parameter. And I'm probably going to do just bean. Takes a Java type though, right? So you can just pass JS. Can you? Returns. Oh, JS object class. Ow, my mistake. I just saw the other type and wasn't thinking of the other class itself. Add parameter. And this is going to be what am I looking at? bean type. Bean. There we go. That should work. So that adds a parameter of that bean type. Call it bean so that we can access it here. Can I combine these? I don't think I use ID outside of this, so let me just combine this stuff. This does assume that this stuff is set prior to calling serialize. And it's all it's doing is delegating over. So I need to make sure that I have an import in here. Not entirely sure how to do that. Can I have imports? Or does it automatically just import stuff? I think it automatically imported stuff, if I recall. As long as it's using the correct type down here, it'll add the appropriate imports automatically. All right, so where was I? I got lost. Here we go. And it's statement. Wrapper set ID. Yeah, that's right. Because the wrapper is already in here, so I don't have to worry about that one. But I will need to. I will have to figure out how to import this guy. How do you add imports? I don't want to have to create like fields or something just for it to do that. That seems silly. Yeah, but how would it know? I need to figure out how to reference the GwtDb util outside of a string, unless I were to use like the code. What is that? Code block. If I used a code block, I could probably do that. Yeah, that was my need to template it. I don't know what that means. See $T? What does that mean? Yeah, you mentioned that before. See $T. I don't know what $T means. Oh, you can do that? Okay. Yeah, I haven't bothered looking at that. I was hoping that this wasn't going to, oh, it's fine. I was hoping that this wasn't going to be a lot of content in the annotation processor. Ah, okay, cool. Yeah, I didn't know if it was like a string format. I didn't know if I was just needing to do like the %s or anything like that. So I didn't bother with it before. All right, so wrapper set ID, GwtDb util.getID. Yeah, the Java Poet's actually kind of nice, to be honest. I know I don't have to do it for the second time. Only needed to do it for the first one. That's fine. And I'm assuming the $T is going to be positional. So if I had multiples in here. Or is it just tied like that? So will I have to do JS object writer class, JS object writer class twice? Well, bean wrapper is the one that we're generating below, so it's not going to import anything. It doesn't exist until I generate it. Yeah, I'll just double up. Because I didn't want to, I mean, I could write it out, but if I were to change the name of this, it'll break the generator. All right, so then adding a statement, $T context equals new $T. So the first one is a JSON serialization context. And then the second one is default JSON serializer context. Okay. And add statement. This one is going to be really ugly. Being wrapper, mapper, simple. Dot instance, get serializer, serialize, writer, wrapper, context. And add statement, return, writer, get value. All right, so that should be it. Oh yeah, I guess I did. Just the one. Did have a run config for regenerating that stuff. Yeah, this one right here. Of course, this is going to generate something that doesn't have the deserialize method. Well, yes, that worked. That looks lovely. All right, so let's get that deserialized method going. Deserial. Oh my god, I can't type today. Fingers are cold. Deserialize. I could probably just copy some of that stuff down. Add parameter JS object. Is it really? I think it's only going to be 50 here. I would probably prefer 50 over 80, to be honest. What is the return type of this? Well, let's implement this just to see what it looks like. Deserialize. And how did we do the deserialization context before? All right, so we need the JS object reader. We set the object there. We import the deserialization context. Deserialized. Get data. And then we also need to reapply in the opposite way. GwtDb util.setID on data. Deserialized get ID. GwtDb util set revision data deserialized revision. And we can return the data. So that is essentially that's essentially what we're going to need to create. Yep. All right. So this is going to return the bean type mirror, but it's type name of that. All right, so that's overrides the public. The parameter is a JS object, and it's returning the bean type. All right, let's just go ahead and start adding some statements, shall we? I'm going to change that to reader. Double up. Takes care of that first line. Takes care of all that first line. Interesting closed captionings. Haven't really been paying attention to those. All right, second one is reader set value, and this is going to be object. Oh, it's pretty simple. It's going to be the serialization context. I'm just going to do context here equals new that. Dot builder build. Yep. And the first one is going to be JSON deserialization context. And the second is going to be default JSON deserialization context. All right, that takes care of that line. let's get rid of some of this stuff. All right. Next statement. Bean wrapper. Deserial. Why can't I type today? I'm just gonna copy and paste. Ah, fingers are cold. And this is basically going to be the same kind of stuff as we have here. All right, get deserializer. I'm just going to copy and paste since my fingers aren't working. I'm just going to put the next line on here too. Reader context. Get rid of these two lines. Heard about heated. Oh, that would be nice, especially in the winter up here in New England. I mean, it's May and it's still pretty cold. I'm not used to that. I came from the Midwest, moved here almost 2 years ago. Can't believe almost 2 years have gone by. All right. And this is going to be data equals deserialized get data. And that type is going to be the type name of that bean type mirror. Okay, got rid of that line. GwtDb util dot set ID data deserialized get ID. Hey, look, I was able to type that without the misspellings. That takes care of those two lines. And the very last statement, return data. There we go. Let's run that again. Oops, wrong one. Let's make sure that generated. I do have a space heater behind me. That actually made my electricity bill go up pretty high this last month. All right, so there we go. That has the serialize, deserialize. Nice. All right, probably don't need that to do anymore. It was kind of nice that I was able to provide a comment of that to do. All right, so here, probably don't need this test stuff anymore. So let's go ahead and get rid of some of this test stuff, because we were able to clone the object. Get rid of that. Let's just do one of these at a time. So here, let's just display all docs. I'm gonna do false for now. Actually, let's overload this. I don't know why I did it that way. That was weird. False or true. So by default, it'll do that one. Let's do false for now. That way it doesn't actually include the document. Let's go over here, refresh, and that is broken. Looks like I will have to restart. Quit? Maybe? Probably both. Probably because I did a clean, so it probably removed a bunch of stuff. Yeah. Let's go ahead and stop everything. Just run through. Let's do install this time. That way it's all there. And then I can rerun my server. Which I need to remember where that's at. There it is. Yeah, new interface. Kind of interesting. I'm used to all of these buttons being at the very bottom on the previous versions of IntelliJ. Uh-oh. Compilation. What? Why? Let's try that again. Oh, that's weird. Let's just make sure that all of the Maven dependencies are there. And let's try this again. Hopefully it recognized the change in the annotation processor. Eventually. I mean, technically, I don't need to do this Gwt compile before starting the server since we're using a code server, but that's how the plugin works, unfortunately. Or yeah, the Gwt plugin in IntelliJ. It adds the artifacts. So if I take a look at the project structure, come over here to, man, come on. Oh, so it can shrink but not grow? Oh, that's weird. So yeah, here's the client. It's going to basically include the Gwt compilation by default. I mean, that's not terrible. But anyways, so that started. I should be able to start the code server. I mean, as long as I'm not changing this annotation processor too often, I don't have to worry about that. I don't think I'm going to really need to change it much more because like all of these named properties, really not going to be needed. Because of the fact that it's a JavaScript object in the back store, so then I would be able to chain these methods appropriately. I'd even be able to do indexes on address.street number or something like that if I wanted to. Looks like I'm having a little bit of lag. I have to do a reboot. Haven't rebooted in a couple of weeks. All right, there we go. And of course we're going to have that error because the display all docs, it's calling all docs on the database and we haven't implemented that yet. Let's go ahead and implement this. There we go. And it's displaying nothing, which is exactly what we were expecting. All right, so all docs. Oh, wait, it's like, I remember implementing that. I was looking at the wrong one. Okay, looks like I'm just passing a default options here. There we go. All right, so now this is where we get the nitty gritty. So this is basically going to look at all of the objects, and we are going to map that JSON object to a new GwtDb node impl. We're still going to use that. That's fine. But we need to know if we need to deserialize or not. So what we are going to do, if options is include docs, this is where we determine if we're going to deserialize it. Since we're not including docs, I'm not going to worry about that one right now. And we're going to return a new GwtDB node. Actually, I should be able to do a new GwtDB node impl of that type D. Yeah, I need the ID from that. I should be able to trust the entry point. Instead of that, I'll need entry set. Excuse me. Ended up having to mute for a second to cough. And of course, that's going to have a revision at some point. I don't think I have a set revision on that yet. That's a to-do. But if we do have the include docs, then we're going to need serialize or deserialize, deserialize on that value, and node.set doc for that. And we're going to collect to list. Oh, thanks for the follow. I can't see that for some reason. Not showing on the other chat. So sorry about that. I am not entirely sure who that follow is from. Looks like Streamlabs isn't in the stream. Why not? Let me fix that real quick. Isn't Streamlabs here? Why isn't my bot running? Hold on one moment. I have to log in, see why the cloud bot's not there. Cloud bot. Disabled. That's weird. All right. See if CloudBot joins us. Not yet. I know that there's like a history on here somewhere, but I am not entirely sure where that's at. So whoever followed, really appreciate it. Sorry that CloudBot didn't welcome you. To unmodifiable list. That list. What? Oh, unmodifiable list. What is that on? Collections unmodifiable list. Weird. Okay, cool. So this will at least, this will actually be pretty quick. Because of the fact that it's not having to deserialize the data unless you were actually wanting it to deserialize. So for most of the other queries that you do against indexes and stuff, it's just going to return the shell of the object. And this is very similar to PouchDB and CouchDB, where if we probably haven't seen this page in a few weeks since we looked at this last. But if we fetch docs, all docs, here we go, all docs. This one's including docs. We're not doing attachments, so we don't have to worry about that. But you can see that if you do include the docs, it's going to have the actual document. Otherwise, it doesn't have an example without the true set. It's just going to return the rows. And it's just going to have the ID and the other revision, eventually revision, but it's not going to have the other document itself. So if I come over here, back to this guy, oops, I refreshed the wrong browser window. This one should actually display right there. So the data store has one row. And I can see that the ID is 1, revision undefined because we haven't actually copied that for now. And the other document is null, which is very nice because then if I go back to the call here, include the doc. So now it's going to include the other docs whenever it comes back. And whenever it comes back, it actually has the document, which is the person, and it has all of its children. And that is the actual being at that point. And because of the fact that here's a good representation of this. So if I were to set the first name to that, actually, let's make it all uppercased so that we can see it easier. Console log. Justin to string, just in case. And then if I console log it after, let's see, I want to do it before, after, and then display docs. Yeah. Let me do it before we post it. Mainly just to show that it didn't modify the bean underneath, because that was the problem that we were having before with the GwtDB in memory strategy. It was actually modifying the object that was being held in the backing map. But because we are serializing it and throwing it into a JavaScript object, it's no longer able to modify that. So even after yeah, so this is the place where it's showing from the database, but here we can see that the person's name was changed. So it's just in there, and it's changed before and after the post or whatever. And then down here is actually displaying all of the docs, and it's back to the original name. So that's good that it's no longer modifying the data behind the scenes. There we go. So that works. And because of the fact that we have the ability to do false here, that is actually really nice, because then it's not going to return the document, and it's basically going to skip the deserialization process, converting from the JSON or JavaScript object back into a Java object, because that's going to be future methods, because eventually we would be able to call fetch on a document, and that would actually return the entire document. So if we just needed like a drop-down list per se, we could get at least the IDs without the full document coming in. All right, cool. All right. So let's go ahead and come down here. Let's go to the next one. So here we're displaying all docs, just the single record for now. Here we're creating a person called Bob. We're setting the ID manually, and we are calling put. So let's go ahead and implement put. Guess that's the only instance of that. All right, so put is to create a new document or update an existing. And let's just make sure that's the same case here. Put, create a new document or update an existing document. If the document already exists, you must specify its revision, otherwise a conflict will occur. If you want to update an existing document, even if there's conflict, you should specify the base revision and use force equals true option. We'll eventually get to that point, but for the first part, we're just going to want at least the general implementation parallel to what we had with the in-memory strategy from before. Oops, my apologies. Final string, the ID. I could probably just copy and paste most of this stuff. So in this particular case, if the ID is null, we were just posting it. That means that it's just going to follow the same idea as creating a brand new document. But if it does have a document, then we have to do different stuff. All right, so if the store contains the key, so this is if the document has an ID, but the store does not contain the key. Node has an ID, but it never saved in the store before. It's kind of interesting that I didn't do anything with the indexes down there. I think most of this is going to be the same. I'm just going to copy and paste for the most part. Yeah, let's just go ahead and copy, paste it all. The whole implementation in here. And then we will do this a little bit different because this is going to be JS object. I don't remember what the resolve is supposed to be. So this is removing from the indexes of that node first. Then once it's removed it from the indexes, why are we doing that? It's because most likely because of the object, since it is in the store, we're going to have to update the indexes, and the easiest way to do that is to remove the old key from all of the B trees, and then once that's done, then we would be able to set the revision on that document, and that's basically just creating a new revision ID. And I guess we're gonna have to serialize that again. Yeah. Then store.put the ID and the newly serialized instance of it. And then we do the new one. Add indexes. Right? I mean, obviously we're going to have to redo the index code. Yeah, I could probably just copy and paste this stuff, and I'll comment out the implementations for the time being. Because we got to refigure out how indexes are going to work. And that is no longer a DB node. That is going to be a JS object. Same with that. Guess I don't need to do that anymore. All right, so the object does not exist in the store. So if we have the ID, we're doing a put on it, we should be able just to throw that directly into the other store. We don't need that stuff. We do need to set the other revision, so that's still needed. Serialize or deserialize, serialize that document. There we go. And then we throw it into all of the indexes. Whatever that implementation is going to look like. Eventually we'll do something with the rev ID. So if the object mismatches the one that's in the store, I guess I should have pulled that out a little bit here. Then we would have to throw an exception because there's a conflict if we're trying to update with the invalid revision ID, but that's future work. All right, so that needs to be refreshed. And the get, that's fine. We haven't implemented that yet. All right. I'm assuming that I did something. Before we call get, let's display all docs. DB. Let's just go ahead and display with the documents included. All right, so there are 2 rows, and here's Bob. And that's the ID Bob. So we have the ability to set a custom ID and still call put on it, even though it didn't exist before. Okay, that works. Let's get rid of that. Move this down here, and let's implement the get method. Yeah, okay. I guess that's all I needed, just to deserialize that document into the resolve. I guess that's it. So if I come over here, refresh, it should show me Bob. There's Bob Johnson, age 35, ID Bob, revision 3. That works. Why is that revision 3 though? Yeah, why is it revision 3? So I'm calling. Let's see. When is that incremented? Oh, that's right. Because I'm using the same ID generator. If we take a look at, it's not in there. I should probably display all docs after that. The revision ID of the first record was incremented too. Yeah, so, oh, well, that's weird. Oh, it's because I'm not deserializing that part. I should probably do that. Where was that? That was in here. Vision. That's posting it. It's saving that. Put. It's not doing anything with that. Where's the all docs? Oh, that's right, because the GwtDB node impl didn't have the other revision in there. I can do a constructor with the ID and the revision. And we just need to make sure it goes through the proper path. Where is this being used? I mean, eventually this in-memory strategy is just going to be deleted. But I just wanted to keep it around for now. We can just do M on that. That's fine. That's fine. I'll just leave it at that. And over here, we can do, no, we're not going to have the revision ID unless we include the docs, right? Well, that's kind of unfortunate. I might end up having to do something a little bit different with the key, so that it'll at least have the other revision ID in there as well. But for now, let's just bean and oh, my apologies again. I knocked it. Revision. Ew, it looks like it's not available. I should probably make it available. Yeah, this needs to be fixed. The fix me not a to do. This is not great. There we go. Not a big fan, but it'll work. It'll work. It'll work. And this will only happen if you're doing an include all docs. But you can see that it has the ID and revision 1, 2, and then the revision of this one is 3 because it was needed to generate. I mean, that was the whole point of us doing that. That is weird. I don't know why Streamlabs is still not in chat. No, it is. Apparently my chat client's not refreshing for some reason. Oh, thanks for the follow. Hey, yeah, Streamlabs is there. Thanks. Ernstram, and that is needing to go away. Sorry about that. Doesn't look like I have the proper access on that side. So I need to come over here. There we go. I don't know what I accidentally clicked on. I'm wondering why my timeout wasn't working on my other. Unless I was just doing the wrong thing. Kill with fire. Yeah, I don't know why I don't want to ban. I mean, the timeout's good enough. But for some reason, it's not letting me do a timeout from the chatty program. All right, back to this. All right. So yeah, I will have to fix that. Have a composite key. I don't know how to restore my chat window. Haven't had to do that in OBS before. So there's this page up, and I can't get rid of it now. I just want to go back to the chat. Oh well, I'll have to fix that later. All right, what is next on our agenda here? So we got the display all docs, we got the get, we have put, we have post. Let's go ahead and come down here. This is not doing anything any different. And here we're just posting a bunch of stuff, and we haven't implemented any of the indexes yet. Where's my Chrome? Let's just see what's the next thing that breaks. Oh, there we go. This is the next thing that breaks, which is create index. All right, so I guess we're up to the index fire part. Just read fire. That is the GwtDb node impl. I don't need that, don't need that. Let's just go through here, look at the methods that we implemented. Don't need debug. Find will be a good one. I don't think I even did a find over here. Let's just, so that we don't get null pointer exceptions, let's at least return a new promise. And we can reject. There we go. There we go. All right, cool. That will work for me. Index time, shall we? Let's just see how this is going to work. And I accidentally reordered stuff up there. Let's get rid of that, get rid of that. Let's take a look at our index stuff. And this is just adding the index, initializing the index on this, and then invoking void null. Yeah. All right. Let's take a look at that. Because here we are going to have to completely rework it, because now it's working on JavaScript objects and no longer the data type itself. And in that particular case, I am not sure how we're going to do the trees for that. Because we don't need the field accessors anymore, since it is a JavaScript object that we're indexing now. We don't really need to hold on to... What is the key? Let's take a look at the key. mean, technically the index can probably just hold on to the ID, the ID of the record in question, right? Doesn't need to hold the whole object, right? I mean, obviously the key values here. See, doc's not even used. I don't even know why I stored a doc in there. So how is that working? Did I do anything with the indexes before? I know that I implemented it, and I looked at the structure, but I don't know if I actually did any actual searches with the index. Yeah, because this really only needs the ID. This will probably give problems. I'll have to figure out how to do the comparisons. But I think I implemented the index so that you can pass in your own comparator. Is that right? Oh, this is in the index itself. Well, for now, let's just put a null. I know that it's going to be in that, but that's fine. I just want to get past the exception. Oh, it's because why? Yeah, let's take a look at it anyways. All right, so where are we actually creating the index? All right, so here's the index creation. Sorry about that, had a cough again. All right. So create that, fields, and then name. That's the name of the index. All right. All right, so here's the place that we don't really care about. Okay, I see what I'm doing there. Don't need property accessors. That's not going to be a thing anymore. Before I delete that, let's come in here. We're only caring about the name fields. Named fields. I don't really care much for the name of that. Property acceptors don't need. don't think this needs to be generic anymore, because it's not going to be a key of D anymore. All right, so down here, initialize, we create a key. So this is not going to be a list of function. Let's see how we're using that. Field accessors. So for each row, all right, so what this is doing, I'm having to remember how all of this works, but we're initializing, which this is only called at the beginning of creating the index, because we need to take all of the records that are currently in the database and index those into our B tree. So we're creating a new index tree, B tree, and we're doing all docs, and we're including the docs. So it is an expensive operation to re-index, because you are having to deserialize all of the documents in the collection, which that's the only way to actually get to the data. So then for each row, we get the doc. So we have that doc. And we have a list of object. I'm just going to do this again, but name fields, stream, map. Actually, I need to no, I don't want the serialized document, so this will have to be done a little bit differently. Yeah, this will have to be done a little bit differently, because I don't want it to deserialize. I want it to stay as the JavaScript objects, because we have the field names. Oh, I don't want to provide any. I don't want to be any kind of encapsulation leak. I don't want the JavaScript object to go outside of the database, because if somebody were to modify any of those JS objects, it'll destroy the integrity of the database. But it's like whenever I have this index, that's all internal. So I might be able to do this slightly different. So what if I didn't have the GwtDb? So I want to get the raw data. So let's, I don't know what I'm doing with this. I need to be able to get this raw data. Basically that store, which can be final. I don't want to expose that in this interface. Raw access, I don't know. All right. So so basically in the index, I need the raw access. What else am I doing with the database? Anything? Doesn't look like it, so I should be able to at least have the raw access here. Of course, that's going to have a problem now. Like I said, this entire class is going to go away once I finish the implementation for this other side, because that one, it just had too many issues. All right, so for the all docs, I basically just need a method. I need to return a promise here. Yeah, I could probably do this. Return new promise, resolve reject, and then db values, get values, or get JS objects. And let's just see how I can do that. All right, so that's going to be a collection JS object. All right, and then we can stream those. So for each one of those objects, that's basically going to be a row. And we are wanting to yeah, I guess we can do it for each. And the document ID. Yeah, here we actually need it as a property map. As property map on that object. Let me think if I can do this. Field name. I might eventually do something in here in terms of if I have a index that is chaining methods. So to do work with chained methods. I could probably, because it's not really a field name. So if I did a private, I don't need that anymore. Private object get value JS property map of object. So if I pass it a if key is null, I return null. Otherwise, if I split on dot parts, I don't want to have to keep joining and splitting. What if I did this? So if the length is 1, which means that was the last key in there, I can just return that value. Otherwise, I'm just going to recursively call get value, and I need to convert that value as a property map with the remainder of the keys. Basically just need a sub. Maybe I'll just do an array. Like an array list. All right, so is empty. I'm just going to return 1 or null. Get at 0. Can always do this as a queue. Just pop off the key. And then I don't have to recursively call. Yeah, I'll write that stuff later. Yeah, let's do this as a queue. It's not peak. Remove. So now if it's empty, return the other value because we popped off the last key. Otherwise we can just recursively call. Obviously I don't have to do that. While key is not empty. Yeah, I know. I end up changing my mind a lot. All right, does that make sense? All right, so if I pass it a property map, I mean, I guess I could just pass that as an object, some sort of OBJ or value. Value. Sure. Get the key, removing the value is of that. Then I convert that into a map. But if it's now empty, I just return that value. Otherwise, I come back in here, remove the next key, grab that value, and that might work. That might work. Just remember where I was going with this. Probably don't need to do that anymore. So if I have named fields, I need to map into their object, which is basically going to take that named field or field name or path. I need to split that on dot arrays as list, and then I can do a get value from the object with that. What array list was. Array list. That's where that implemented queue. Where are the implementations of queue? Oh, maybe I need that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be correct or not. At this point, I don't care. So that is the value. And that's essentially what I want to return. So it's going through the collection of the paths or the name fields, which could be paths. And then for each one of those, I'm grabbing from this object a split out array of those. Which I can probably come down here and make it a little bit cleaner. we go. So then I have a list of object values. And I need the other key. So unfortunately I do need that prop still. ID. Well, since we are... Can't I do that? Yeah, maybe not. Let me just cast it. All right, so now we are going through all of the raw JavaScript objects, and for each one of those, I'm going through all of the name fields, creating a collection of all of the values based upon those, and then I'm throwing it into a key, throwing it into the B tree, and I'm holding on to the ID as the object here. Whew. Eventually, we'll probably need the complex ID. So in that particular case, it would probably make more sense for me to return the map. Then I wouldn't even have to grab the ID from that. Guess that's it. That seems a little bit more compact. All right, so now create key. Can't remember what this is used for. Just adding and removing. Yeah. So I basically just need to do the same thing as I did up here, right? And of course, we can only create an index if it's already attached to the database. All right, I mean, that seems legit. No, still having an issue on the create index. Oh wait, is it because we didn't actually implement that side? Create index. Yeah, I thought so. All right, so what are we doing on the side? Create index. I guess that's basically the same. All right, and that's going to be this. Ah, sorry. Keep hitting the mic. All right, cool. That might work. We'll see. Ah, that failed. What? I mean, it's right there. GwtDb JS object strategy. Indexes cannot be resolved or is not a field. 71. What you talking about? Okay, there we go. That was weird. All right. Did that actually compile that time and no errors? Nope, still an error. Looks like it is in a different place this time at least. Well, that returns, I should probably return that, right? No, wait. How do I do that? I don't know if that's right. All right. Still having issues. You know what? I haven't done this in a while. Let's go ahead and clean up the Gwt cache. Start from scratch. It's taking a while. Oh, here it comes. Slowly but surely. All right. No exceptions in the console that time. That's pretty good. All right. How was I doing the... how was I testing the indexes before? What was the debug in here doing? Okay, so this was just that. That's fine. Let me just do the same. Just so that we have the same debug that we had before. Just want to make sure that it actually shows something. Index debug. That's weird. Am I not getting to that point? Wonder if it's just because of the timing of it all. Because of the fact that all of these things are happening in promises. I'm not seeing it. so I don't even think that we're getting there. All right, so let's put a breakpoint there, see if we're even getting to that first then, and it doesn't look like it. All right, so there is something wrong with us. So why is this having an issue? Well, let's see. Are we even getting to that? So create index. Let is go there. Yeah, no. Well, it does make it there. Okay. So there might be a failure. Oh, wait. Guess I never called the resolve in this one. And I deleted all that code. What did that look like before? Oh, so we just returned. Yeah. For each. Okay. Cool. A little bit further this time. And got there though. Thought we got further. Didn't we make it inside of here? Yeah, we did. Yeah, I don't get that. Well, I can probably pause on exceptions. So let's the breakpoint there. So what's the exception here? Reference error. Yeah, I think that's incorrect. I think it's a cache issue again. Yeah, for some reason, whenever you're dealing with lambdas and stuff like this, sometimes it really messes up your cache. Oh, I don't want to pause on exceptions anymore. I figured out my OBS issue. I don't like it whenever there's a pop-up inside of a panel that you just can't see. There we go. All right, so here's the index debug. Oh boy. Well, that's not very helpful. I wonder what those objects are. Hmm. So I guess they're JavaScript objects at that point. Not entirely sure how to get those out as normal objects then. I guess that's why it's just printing object, object, object. Yeah, I was hoping to be able to actually see the other values so I can see if they were actually compared correctly for this B tree. Yeah, just getting rid of some of these copy and paste areas. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to open up index. And maybe down here. Just want to see what this looks like. Just on the first one. That's kind of weird, right? Weird. Values. So I do have an object array. That doesn't look right. I think I got that wrong. That's very incorrect. I forgot to grab the data out of it. So I forgot to unwrap it because the JSON object that we have is going to have data. All right, so that was the first problem. So with the initialize here, let's just go ahead and map that into a as property map. And then map that. Get, and this is going to be data. So that unwraps. I know I didn't really have to do it that way. That'll unwrap the data from it, right? But this no longer has the appropriate object. All right, so let's go back to that. Don't need to do that anymore. There we go. So now we have the property map, but then we get the data from that, and that's going to be the actual document. And then we grab the ID from that and the other values. Yeah. All right, so here's the props. Let's put a breakpoint there. Now we have the values. What was our, I don't even remember. It was first name. So we were trying to index on first name. Yeah, so that's actually incorrect. All right, so I have a problem with my get filled values. Yeah, at least it got in there with the appropriate object. All right, so let's try that again. All right, so the path is first name, and the value is our object here. Okay, that's correct. So if I down to that, key shouldn't be empty. Oh, I'm splitting on any character. Not a dot. That could have been problematic. Oh, there we go. That one's actually correct that time. There we go. That was troubleshooting. Just because I missed escaping the dot there. I forgot that it was a regex. All right, so we have Angel, we have Alex, Bob, Jumble, Justin. Those are on the left side of Angel, mainly because they're uppercase and we're doing case sensitive comparisons. And then on the in between Angel and Story, we have Horse, Java, and Split Me. And then on the right side of Story, we have Test, Time, Zebra, and a second zebra. All right, cool. That is actually correct. And we're back to where we started, but at least it's cleaner now because we're using JavaScript objects instead of the backing bean. So now changing a value is not going to mutate and basically leave a key abandoned, right? We have Zebra, so I created two people with the first name Zebra. But those are just the key values. So then we haven't actually done a find yet using those indexes. We probably need to do that now. And these are no longer needed. Nice. So no more named indexes. So I can get rid of that from the interface. So that's pretty nice. And if I wanted to, I'd be able to do a deep, like a fields, like I don't know what's in the address. So if I take a look at person, address, street. So if I did like address street, I mean, of course, most of these are going to be null. Okay, so I do need to fix for null. Cannot read properties of null. Yeah, it's right there. Oh, I need to check to see if it's null. So in the index, anywhere that it finds a null, I should probably just return a null, right? So if it's null or the key is empty, it's just going to return null. We know here that it's not null, but in here it might be null. So if value equals null, return null. Otherwise, it's pointless to grab a property map of null. So it's null safe. Should be. Let me just refresh and make sure. Get rid of that. Yeah, so it's null safe now. So even though, except for the fact that the key values, the keys are going to be null for all of these. But it's self-balancing and it's going to be comparing nulls to nulls. I don't know. I might do something with nulls later, but the B tree seems to be working. So that's cool. That's very cool. So first name. And what if I did last name as a second field to this index? So here, oops, did I get last name wrong? last name. No, that's correct. So Angel had a null last name. That's right. Bob Johnson, Alex Johnson, Justin Hickman, Zebra null, split me null. All right, cool. And of course, if I were to swap these, but first name, last name, then first name, the key is going to fail. Oh, no pointer exception whenever it's trying to do a comparison. All right, so get values, get I. I have double parents here. So where was the exception? Oh, that's kind of interesting. So what was null? Was it A or B? It wouldn't have been A because we're checking to see if it's an instance of comparable. If it's null, it's not going to be an instance of comparable. Story and Justin. Time and story. Split me in time. Split me in story. Split me in Justin. Let's just keep going until we see a null any of these. I would have thought that it would have been sooner. Oh wait, can you see that? You may not be able to see that very well. My head's chopping it off a little bit. I'm looking right here at values A and B because we're just comparing this key values versus the other key values at the same index. So basically, because of the fact that each key can have multiple values as for its key index, I have to compare each one. So if the first value at index 0 is equal, it would return 0. If it's not equal, I just return that value. So if they are equal, I will go to the next one in this in the array. So if they're equal, goes to the next one and compares the next index and so on until it finds one that's not equal to 0. And then it just returns. Otherwise, it goes through the whole thing. So here's B, which is null. And oh, so that throws an exception. So is that in the Java doc? Ow. Oh, apparently it is. So do we want nulls first? I mean, I can return -1, which means that see, let's just double check. So positive integer if it's less than. So I should probably do a +1, right? Because A is going to be greater than B. Because B is null, and we're assuming nulls first, that nulls are less than. Maybe. I don't need that breakpoint anymore. Here we go. Yeah, because all of these are null. Ooh. Yeah, that's not good. Because if A is null, it's not an instance of comparable, so it'll get down here and value is going to be 0. So it's assuming that if A is null, that the objects are equal. Yeah, I don't need to do that. Val is equal to... So if A is null or not comparable, I can do... Well, that's just assuming that's not comparable either. If it's not comparable and this is comparable, -1. So that means that A is less than B if A is not comparable or null. Ugh. I guess I didn't need to do that, but that's fine. Because we don't need to compare, we don't need to do a B compared to A because B or A was not comparable, right? Ugh. Dealing with generic comparable sucks. All right, that might have been correct. I mean, I didn't throw an exception that time, which is cool. Very cool. Split me. Just double checking these values. So between null and split me, we have null story, null test. And then null time after that is null zebra, and non-null. So we have our first non-null over here, which is correct. So that's going to be at the end of the list. So nulls first. All right. I mean, that seems to work for me. I don't mind that at all. It might bite me later, but so far so good, right? Cool. All right, so now we have been able to create an index, even if there are multiple fields, and I'm just going to do this on the first name. Multiple fields, we can do chained methods like address.street, and it'll be able to use those in the indexes. I mean, obviously, if there's any nulls in there, if nulls are common, that's going to be problematic because of the fact that it's not able to index those very well. Basically going to have this huge list of nulls. So you don't want to have an index where they're all null. It'll be very difficult to find the other value. All right, so what I'm going to do is quarter after 12, I'm going to take probably like a 30-minute break. I don't know. The timer is going to say 10 minutes. I'm probably going to set myself a 10-minute timer, run downstairs, grab some lunch. And whenever we come back, what I want to do is actually use these indexes to start finding objects. Probably have to go back to the PouchDB just to see if I can query an index. Did I actually do any index queries? So here we removed. Let's just take a look at this real quick. Oh, not yet implemented. Right. It's like we only got to this first one, so we didn't do anything with the remove yet. So we need to go into this guy and actually implement remove on a document. Is that going to be easy? Yeah, that could be easy. So let's just go ahead and do that before I head out for a break. So let's remove dvutil get ID on that document. There we go. And then in here, return new oh, I already did that. And if ID is null or the store does not contain the ID of doc ID, reject on invoke, document does not exist. I don't know why I'm typing this all over again. Oh, ha, that was a bug because it's also going to resolve it. Return. Otherwise, resolve on invoke. I guess I could have done an else. Remove from indexes, store.remove ID, doc ID. And remove from indexes. And let me just do an else there. Yeah, because this is going to assume that is not right, is it? Yeah, I mean, it's fine to get the key that way, right? No, that's going to be a problematic too. How did I not see that before? I guess we're only calling create key from remove, and that these need to be JS objects. That's not going to work. Oh. Yeah, that'll work. That's funny enough because the doc is a JavaScript object. Oh, no, it won't because it's underscore. I need to just need to grab JS as property map doc get ID. I know. That's ugly. All right, so then this needs to be JS object. I'll rename that later. Yeah, so I don't think it needs to be an index on D anymore, right? I might remove that parameterization later. This is not going to work anymore. This is not going to work anymore. But again, we're deleting that class. So for each one of those, there we go. And I can just do that. This is just going to be object. There we go. Yeah, that looks correct. I hope. So does that continue to throw an exception? Yeah, it's a different exception. That doesn't make any sense. Probably just need to clear the cache and start it again. Yes, I am planning on going to lunch at some point. I just want to get some of this boilerplate stuff out of the way. Yeah, I'm on. Takes a little bit. I don't think there was anything actually wrong with those. Yeah, the create index was fine. It was just remove index, remove from index indices. Oh, that returns a promise. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, there we go. This time it worked. So the first one, oh, this is really out of order, I think. No, it's correct order. So the first one should have should have Justin in here somewhere. There it is, Justin. And then the second one should not. Oh. No, we removed from the indexes. Because this is the old one. Yeah, that should have indexed. Yeah, that shouldn't have been there anymore. Because what we're doing is we're creating the index, and then on the result of the index, we're just doing debug, which just prints out the current index. And then I'm removing Justin, and I'm coming in here to debug. There should be a lot more debugs in here than there are. Am I even getting to that point? Which ones am I getting to? I know that I don't need that. Main entry point. But there's something going on in here, like an exception that I'm just not seeing. All right, so then that was the first debug. That's the second debug. See, we should have removed Justin from that. So I guess we need to look at the remove a little bit. I mean, technically, we're not doing any catches in here. And let's pause breakpoints. That's interesting. Why isn't that working? Ugh, why do I keep doing that? I need to go here. Let's step into that. Step into that. Step into that. Step out. Here we go. Here's the remove. I'm just going to put a breakpoint there. So the document ID is 1. So we should get over here. Yep. Oh wait, this is invoking. Yeah, this is invoking a promise inside of this. How did I miss that before? Ah, it doesn't look like I did. Did I? No, I did not. Let's remove from indexes. Remove. Yeah. How did I miss that before? Right? Passing it an identifiable, which is a promise. So I can can I resolve a promise with a promise? I thought I could. I think that's why I have my code like this. Let's just spell it out. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Let's see. Let me just remove all breakpoints. No, that's still having an issue. Yeah, why is that still having an issue? All right, I think I need some nourishment for my brain. So what I'm going to do is take a break for a little bit. And when we come back, we're going to try to figure out why this isn't chaining through. And hopefully it's something stupid on my behalf. I thought this would work. Resolving a promise with that other promise. But maybe not. So we'll figure that out here in a little bit. So come back in about 10 minutes, maybe 20. I might reset the timer if I'm still not done with lunch. I'll be right back. All right, I am back. Did some speed eating. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what the issue is on this. Because I don't think this is necessary. It returns void, right? Yeah. Yeah, I don't see what could be causing this problem. Hello, here we are. Yeah, where's my remove? There's a net, create key, get key. Or am I looking in the wrong place? Yeah. Well, it's getting there. Oh, wait. This is in remove. Right, that's correct. So it wasn't the remove that was giving the problem, right? No. I got confused where I was. Main entry point. So we did get to here. Did we get to here? Yeah, we did. But it wasn't actually removing the index. Yeah, because it's still there. And why is that? All right, let me refresh this. Getting in there. Probably just skip that one for now. This is the JavaScript object. The ID revision, and then it also has all of the other data. It should all be intact. Yeah. So let me skip over the create key. Wait, what? All right, I think that didn't work as well as I was hoping. So let me refresh that. All right, so back in here, create key. Oh. Oh, wait. I think I know what it is. I forgot to unwrap. Where is that? I need to unwrap that. Oh, that is stupid. Create key. So I'm only calling this directly on that JS object. So, all right. So let's create a key. It looks like it's going to basically move all of this crap. There we go. Cool. That should reduce. All right, so let's skip breakpoints for now. There we go. Justin's no longer there. All right, see, Justin was in it first, and then I call remove on that bean, which does it based upon the ID. So it'll take the value, the object that's in the database, and use that to look up the index that was associated with that. Because if the values were to have changed, if the values were to have changed in the bean other than the ID, then we needed to look up the old index. All right, so that works. Yay. All right, so then let's go back to my main entry point and index test person. What is this? This was Z index create, or Z after index creation. All right, I think that's just so that it was ordered by first name. Yeah, but that's already implemented, right? Post. Oh, I didn't actually do anything with the indexes here. Post. All right. Introduce local variable previous value. So if we are overwriting a previous value, invoke, so we need to remove that previous node or previous value from the indexes. Then we need to add the new one to the indexes, right? Otherwise, if there wasn't a previous value, we can just resolve on invoke add to indexes JS object. There we go. So that should allow you to add objects after index creation. All right, so first time it's the full list. Second time we print the debug, it removed Justin. Third time we added the Z after index creation, and it's there. Then after we post that, we, oop, I think I just drug the, that was weird. Where was I? Debug. So then I display all docs after I add that, and that's this right here. What order is that? It's a weird order. No, it's not weird. It's alphabetical by ID. That makes sense. Because we used just a string index. It's like, why is it that weird order? Okay. Because I think all docs, where is that? All docs. Doesn't say what order, does it? I think it's because options descending. Reverse the order of output documents. Note the order of start key and end key is reversed. I don't know if I get that. So I think it's based upon the comparison of the IDs. So I think we're doing it correct. Move that back over. All right, so then after we display all docs, what are we doing here? We're modifying this bean directly with detach from index. Oh, it won't detach. All right, so if I modify Henry after index, so I'm basically modifying this, and this is where we came up with that issue to begin with, because we were modifying the live object. But now that we're cloning the objects, I'm going to be setting this, and it's not going to impact the index at all. Manually creating a copy in order to update indexes appropriately. I don't need to do that anymore, but that's fine. I'll go ahead and refresh that. So this doesn't detach. This will just add a new one. Right? Oh, no. It removes the Z and Z after, and it replaces it with Henry because we're copying the ID into this new copy. And because we are posting that or putting it on top of the old one, it's no longer orphaned. So that's good. That's good. That actually passes the test. So that that key is no longer orphaned. That is very good. Because if we look up here, before we did that, we can see that the first name is Z after index creation. And down here, that doesn't exist, and only the Henry after index. Cool. All right, so then the next one is just debugging. Yep, we're displaying all docs. Yep. And no errors. All right, cool. So that takes care of everything. So now I'd like to be able to do a find or something on some of this, the indexes. I'm not sure how fast that's going to be. I mean, I don't have a lot of data, unfortunately, in my collection, so I should probably create some dummy data, throw it in the throw it in here and see what it does. I need to sneeze. It's like on the verge of it, but for some reason it won't go. All right, so let's create an index here. So that is the first name. So I should be able to comment all this stuff out. That was just my testing of the creation and mutation of the items in the index. So that's no longer needed. So here was the query. Oops. Come on, import. And that is going to be import static methods operator. And I should just start import that. All right. So here was the find that we were inspecting, trying to figure out if this will work or not. I do not have that index, so I should probably throw an exception if the index doesn't exist, maybe? Query index. Okay, so it looks like it will still have a result. I'm not sure what the content of that result is, but it'll actually have a warning in the message. So it's still like, even if it doesn't have the index that you specify, it'll still do a query because it still has the ability. It'll just be a lot slower without the matching index. Oh, this is going to be fun. I think there was a page that I was looking at before. I think it may have been this. Yeah. So here you have the index, and then you can have a selector giving it the left side is going to be the field, and then the right, the value is going to be by default equals, I think. Yes, it's equivalent to the equals operator. So right here I have the equals operator, but I could also, maybe I should just force that. Yeah, I could overload that, right? Need to get rid of that function though. That function's no longer useful. Apparently I never implemented any of this. Ooh. That one. I guess that'll work. So if I did like that. Can I do equal? Oops. Yeah, it looks like it works. Yeah, and order matters here. So if you're searching by first name and then age, order will matter. For the first part, because I only have the index on first name, I'm just going to do first name first, first name first, first name as well, or only. Today's going to be a long day. So I probably need map of string to operator, but it needs to be like a linked hash map. It needs to be ordered. Why I typed that whole statement in reverse order. All right. No, I can't use a map because I could have multiples. Can't I do my own simple entry? Is that in the JDK emulation? You know, it's probably weird to do it that way. All right. So now I have a collection of selectors. Well, single selector, and it just has multiple items in it. Dot selector equals that. Index name equals that. All right. All right, let's close out some of these that I don't need anymore. All right, so let's take a look at the find. Not yet implemented. That is correct. Let's move that out of the way. I mean, for the fact that we're getting this so early, it means that data's not even there yet. I should probably let's just do this. That way we know that we're inside of, yeah. Right? Doesn't that return a promise? Oh. Just did not like whatever I was doing. All right, so this will guarantee that it's at the very end, right? Because promises are ordered. All right, cool. No point of doing something different here. All right, so what's the problem? Create is not a function? Sure it is. On which one? Search. And that creates a new search. And we have a selector. We have use index. Yep. That returns this. Yep. That doesn't seem right. Yeah, it might be another cache issue. I don't know why it's having so many cache issues recently. All right, there we go. So this time we're getting the not yet implemented. Yeah, it's kind of weird. All right, so now that we have the search, we don't have anything with it. We'll probably need to figure out the selectors. How are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? I mean, I've considered... I have considered the store being an index itself, basically an index on the key. So then I would just search through all of the indexes. I mean, obviously, we'll want to. Let me first find the index by the name. All right, I'm looking at this. Use index. Get index name, I guess. All right, now that it has an index name, if the index name is not equal to null, so it probably means that some of these are probably not named, but indexes, not good with names today. All right, so then we're just trying to find the first one that is able to locate. If that is present. Then we do this crap and return. Otherwise, we get down here and we just try to find the data based upon the search criteria. Not entirely sure how we're doing this. I do not know how to use this. Index.find. Well, let's think about that for a little bit. Because the index is holding a B tree with all of the basically a key. Which is consistent of the values at each of those indexes. And that points to the ID in the database that it represents. That one's probably going to require a little bit more thought. So I might end up calling it a day. It's been 4 hours. We got a lot done. We were able to get the all of this done inside of JavaScript objects. We got the indexing to work. I can probably delete this class now. I think I got everything that I needed out of it. Yep. Let me just double check. Eventually we can do like a pagination and stuff like that, which will be pretty nice. Yep. Strat, and this is the in-memory one. Let's go ahead and delete that one. No longer needed. All right. So then it's just a matter of trying to figure out how to actually locate objects using the search criteria, because we have a search. No, I'm gonna have to go up a that's parameterized now. I don't know if it needs to be parameterized, does it? I mean, just looking at this, I put some space around it. This is the important part. So we are creating a search using this selector, and by default it's equal, and it could return multiple values if multiples equal. So now we just need to be able to search that B tree. So let's take a look at the index. I know that I said that I was ending it. Just give me a couple of minutes. Yeah, let's just put this code anywhere. Actually, do I have a find or locate? Nope. All right, so here, index tree. All right, so we do have a search, and that was the B tree search that we implemented before. What is the search? Oh, I think this is if you have a different route that you're wanting to search. By default, it searches the route. Otherwise, you can pass whatever root node that you wanted as the starting place for your search. Oh, I need to push the mic away. Sorry. So this will search the entire tree. So a new key. And this is just going to have the values, and I don't really need the document ID because this is only meant to search. The key values is the only thing that's actually used in the B tree. The document ID is just it's just holding on to it. I'm not even using it right now. But yeah, we're only using the key values in the B tree. So if we are searching, yeah, I might have to do something in the B tree to be able to search with different qualifiers, like less than, greater than, so on. Because right now the search is only going to find a single one, and it has to equal. So yeah, looks like I'm going to have to play around with the B tree next time to be able to return multiple nodes based upon any number of operations. So like less than, greater than, less than equal, greater than equal, equal, and so on. That's going to be interesting because I'm going to have to be able to traverse the entire B tree based upon that little bit of information. So I'm going to call it for the day. It's a little bit after 4 hours of streaming time. I think we got a lot accomplished. Next time, maybe tomorrow, depending on how much I'm able to figure out on this, because I like to come prepared a little bit on my streams. We'll go ahead and do all of the stuff that I just mentioned. So until next time, take it easy.